Welcome to EIPIP meeting number 128. This is issue number 2106 on Ethereum/PM GitHub repository. On agenda, we have some call for input, editors discussion, a few policy discussion items that we can collect editors' thoughts, followed by updates from earlier meetings, EIP's Insight, and I believe we also have got a demo today with the EIP lab team, and I see the contributor has also joined, but we will go ahead and get started with the first item, which is call for input. Welcome, editors, and over to you, Sam.
Sure. So the first one, 393, is just waiting for the second PR to get another editor approval. I can't force merge things anymore, so working on that for the time being, but if somebody else wants to approve it, that'll get merged and we can close the call for input. Then we have 398, which is like clients PR. What are we waiting for on this one? This is just waiting for an implementation, which I guess there is one here. So we need to go and approve that. Yeah, okay, so I think Matt just needs to mark this as ready for review and then we're good to go. And then oh wait, that is I don't think we need this one anymore.
Sam, we are losing you. And we cannot hear you anymore.
I'll switch computers.
Okay.
That's the end of the conference. I'll be right back.
I think we could not collect what you mentioned for the last one. If you would like to maybe repeat. Oh, you have merged it. Okay, cool. Cool. So that's it for call for input, and let's move on to the next one. So next are a few items which are there for editors discussion. I think the first item is, okay, I have received this as an issue on EIP's GitHub repository. Just wanted to bring it here in this meeting so editors may take a look. I already see Joachim has added some response. Wonder if people would like to discuss this. Joachim, if you would like to maybe initiate with your thought here, capture your thoughts, and then it can be discussed a little bit more.
Yes. So are we talking about EIP 11845 PR?
That is right, yes. Sorry, it is the issue number 11658. Let me add it here in the chat. So that's about the reduced duplication and drift between Ethereum EIPs and ERC.
Right. Oh, sorry. This one. Yeah. I think this is pretty straightforward because we, like in the past, we moved the ERCs to a new repository, and there is a drift between the shared files. And the idea from Ryan is one of the ideas is to have a shared infrastructure repository where both of these repositories point to. I think this is the logical choice here, so I think we should do that. So in order to keep all the files in sync with each other, that we do not have two versions of the files for each for either the EIPs or the ERCs.
This is more or less correct. I'm sure that we do have to duplicate the work on EIP1 as well. But I wonder if there is a way to have shared resources. Sam, do you have any thoughts on that?
Sorry, I just got back. What thoughts do I need to have?
So we were talking about the duplication of work that has arisen because of the repo split. We are talking about issue number 11658 on EIP repository. It talks about how we can have shared resources. I know for now we have to make two PRs for EIP1. One is on EIP repo and one is on ERC repo in order to keep both of them in sync.
Yep.
But there are other issues as well. I wonder if there is a way to maybe unify the effort and we don't have to duplicate it.
In the long term, I think EIPS WG is the way to do that, assuming that we actually go down that road. In the short term, I think the idea of maybe using submodules is something we could do. We'd still have to make a PR to both repositories in that case to update the submodule commit hash, but at least they'd be in sync. One other option, I guess we could also just put it into a third repository and then clone it as part of the build, and then you wouldn't have to make any pull requests or any bump any commits for the submodule. Any of those options would work. Do we have a preference for something like that?
I mean, I'm open wherever user does not have to duplicate the work. So if submodule is an optimum way to move forward, it's fine. Joachim, if you have any preferences around you?
Yeah, I think my light preference is the submodule, but Sam is right. Like, we do not want to add any work for the EIP users, because then people will run into problems. So yeah, if there's like a way to do this in a very easy way, such that the user does not have to do any more comments, then that would be nice. But I don't think there is one where we force clone a shared repository. I think we have to do the submodule in it anyways. So I think if we point to that command very clearly in the readme.md, then I think that should work.
Sounds good to me.
So I wonder if anyone would like to own this responsibility. Sam, is it something that can be you can maybe take care of?
I don't want to commit to adding more things onto my plate right now, but
or maybe if you could create an issue where you can describe what is required, then we can share it with the community to ask for some help around that.
Yeah,
People
sure.
can take a look. Yeah,
I can write that up.
Yeah, I guess that would be an easier step. So it's not on someone, it is something that is open for pickup. Cool. The next item here is with respect to Glamsterdam, but I would like to maybe go ahead with the third PR here, not the second one. So the PR number is 11883, which is a Glamsterdam PR. It seems that it has received the author's approval. Sam, you had shared some suggestions which I have already incorporated. If you can maybe able to approve it, it will be merged.
This needs to be rebased, I think, assuming that 7928 has been merged.
But it is not showing any base. I mean, merge issues, is it? Oh yeah, 7928. Okay, fine. I'll go ahead and do
so it
that.
just needs to be rebased.
Yeah. So if I rebase it, will it be merged, or do you? I mean, like.
I'll approve it, and then it'll merge once you rebase it.
Okay, perfect. That makes sense. Cool. And then after that, we can go to another PR, which is there for EIP 8037, and the number is 11883. I guess this is very similar to situation which Joachim has highlighted in the Discord channel. So, Joachim, if you would like to maybe talk first about the issue where we are seeing EIP dependency, and then we can also take a look at Maria's suggestion here.
Yes, sorry, because which PR is this? 11883?
That's right, 883. Oops, sorry, I'm so sorry. I don't know why my copy did not work. So this PR number is 11879 of Maria's PR. So
Yes.
basically this EIP 8037 is dependent on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
right.
8, 9, 10 EIPs.
Yes, yeah, I see. Yeah, I mean, like the only comment I have here is that we should follow the procedure, and that all the EIPs mentioned should be in review. The only thing is that there could, of course, be cases where we want to make an exception to this, but I don't want to make like a lot of exceptions. There could be links to EIPs which are like of a historical value or like as an educational value. So these are that could be sentences like, okay, we have tried this in the past, but it didn't work out. And if you link to this EIP, which could be stagnant or draft, that the authors will not move to a higher stage, then that could be a reason to still move these EIPs to a higher level of phase. But I would also think that we might want to avoid that, because this will then happen again in last call. It will also happen in final. So I think the suggestion is then, okay, maybe remove it. But yeah, for this EIP, all of them should first move to review, and then it will auto merge. So not auto merge, but then we can approve it, because the bot is also failing for this one.
Yeah, I think I have created a PR for each of the EIPs, which is added at requires here. In order to move all of them in review, we can definitely wait for authors to approve that. And maybe editors can go ahead and add approval as well. So when authors approve, it will automatically merge, and we don't have to wait for authors. We don't have to wait for editors' approval again.
That's a good point. One of the policies I want to do myself is I want to really, because moving these things to a new phase is on itself fine, but I really want to, especially with these Glamsterdam EIPs, I want to check that these EIPs are actually correct, because they depend on each other, and they are sometimes have conflicting definitions, and I do not want to move an EIP in review which is clearly still not ready for review, if that makes sense.
No, I agree. I totally agree, because moving to review status is moving it to a more responsible status where we feel that EIP is more prepared. The other day, Sam was reviewing a proposal of Amsterdam, and it took about 40 minutes. the PR was just to move from draft to review because the proposal was already in CFI and it took longer. So we understand that, but here's the thing, like we are not getting enough attention from authors. And if we don't, then it would be very difficult to move it on to these statuses. And at this moment, currently, we should be having all the EIPs in last call because we are very close to public testnet. Public testnet means last call. I don't know if there is any solution around that. How do we think we can maybe inspire authors to take a look at the PRs or maybe create one?
Yes. So like I agree that based on the process, these ERPs should already be in last call. But okay, this is specifically also because I am working on the testing part of these ERPs. But the problem is that and this is like a symptom of a problem of the process itself, because these ERPs, so we have 8037, ERP 8037, we have ERP 2780, and we have ERP 8038. These are all repricing ERPs, and the problem is that if you would print out these ERPs, then there are conflicting definitions on them, and the problem is that we are also still doing spec changes for these. And okay, so let me just think out loud, because the thing is that if I would move it to review, then on this pass I could do like a check. Okay, are these ERPs consistent? The problem is that still spec changes are coming in, so that would mean that if the ERP moves to review, then a spec change comes in, then it can become inconsistent again. So yeah, I don't know. I think I started to move a little bit to approve moving this to review, but with the explicit comment that we should improve the consistency of these ERPs. Yeah, I will think about it a little bit, but if Sam thinks it is fine, then Sam can also approve.
Yeah, I think review is fine. I think that's acceptable, but yeah, obviously they should be consistent before going into final or last call.
All right. So my goal here is to let all the proposal be moved to review. So there should not be any blocker, and we can even move the meta EIP to review status. And then I will take it to ACD call and request all the authors to like sensibly look into all the PRs, because I know for each of the EIPs, there are more than one open PR, which should be addressed before the status change. But the status change PR is just to bring them to a right status. And I will request them to maybe take a look at it, address all the PRs, close it, and then make a new PR to move it to the last call. I believe we still have got a couple of weeks before we can transition all of those to the last call. So editors, please take a look at the open PRs for Glamsterdam especially. And yeah, if you can add approval, it will just be waiting on author's approval, which I'll be following up in the background. With that, maybe we can move on to the next one. The next one is EIP 1 update. I believe it is added by Joachim. I guess it is done by Dan. Joachim, if you would want to provide updates on that.
Yes, let me find, if you could link the ERP PR in the chat, then I know that we are talking about the 11845. Okay, so this is an update to ERP 1. The context of this is that we currently have the allowed URLs, which allows the execution spec tests URL. The thing is that this repository is being I don't know what the right term is, like archived or deprecated or whatever, but it should not be used anymore to link to, because all these URLs are moved from execution spec tests to the execution specs repository. This is the reason why this URL is removed from the ERP, but we have a procedure which I think Sam knows the exact number of this, to propose changes to the URLs, and we should discuss this. So that's what I wanted to do.
5757 is the process for adding them. Removing them, I think we can just do. I don't think there's any process for it. Like if
which EIP? Sorry, 56.
I think it's EIP 5757.
Okay. Yes, yeah, that's correct. But it has a rule for any approved the origin removal rule. Maybe I didn't read this correctly. So it says origin removal, any approved origin that ceases to satisfy the above requirements must be removed from EIP1. If a removed origin later satisfies the requirements again, it may be reapproved by following the process described. Oh, okay. Okay, right. Okay, so there is basically, we shouldn't even have to discuss this. So well, not I, but we as editors can approve this
Exactly. Yeah.
update.
I think
Okay,
it's fine.
great. Yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah.
But since this is an PR to EIP1, it might require 2 editors' approval. So yeah, kindly add approval. Cool. With that, we can move on to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next 5 issues / PRs, which are listed on agenda, I believe they can be closed. So we don't want to go ahead and discuss each one of them, but I would request editors to maybe take a look at it. And if you can, you have permission, may be able to close them if you find appropriate. Or just leave a thought why it cannot be closed so we can address it later. Moving ahead, there are a few items for policy discussion. The first one is ETH-bot merging and EIPW related some concerns. Joachim has added a detailed comment about that. Joachim, if you would like to maybe summarize the comment and what are we looking to discuss as well as get a decision on today.
Yes. So for the merging related points, there are two points. The first is that I think because it currently seems that if ETH-bot merges the APR, it squashes all the commits, which I think is fine. But what it does not do is it will not put any authors or co-authors of these commits as
that's annoying.
as squashed, and I think we should do that because of the accountability or the git blame or the whatever. Yeah. So the main question is here, and I can also open an issue for ETH-bot, but that this should be changed because
that's perfect.
Yeah,
I think that's
okay.
unobjectionable.
Okay, no, okay, that's great. Okay, cool. Then I will create an issue for this, and then we can follow up for that. And then the other point is that if you check the comments in the EIP's repository on GitHub, then in most cases, if you do squash merge, then in the URL or in the commit text, you can directly click on the PR number and then you can go to the PR. And I think this is like very handy because then you can also see you can directly check like any reviews or any whatever. So that's the second point. I can also open an issue for this one, that we somehow figure out how we can make the ETH-bot related merges also point to these PRs which get merged.
That should be well, I mean, it would just be adding it to the commit message, I think, in ETH-bot, so that shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, it should be pretty easy to do. Yeah, it should just be updating the commit message to include both the authors and the PR number. So could do that at the same time.
Okay, yeah, I will just move on to the other points which I had. So this is that's the third point. It's about the EIPW rules. This is just for making our lives as editors somewhat easier, because then we let the bot flag specific problems with the EIP directly. Because I often find myself that, for instance, the EIPs or ESCs on the first reference must have a URL link. So you link to ./EIPx.md.
That one should be there already.
Okay, then if it should be there, then I think that in one of the repositories, then this rule is either disabled or it does not work, because I keep flagging this on you. Okay, maybe.
Yeah, if you have a
that's
link, send it my way and I'll take a look at it.
Yeah. Okay. I will do that. Yeah. And yeah, okay. So, and the second point is basically the same, but then for RFCs. So we have like this sentence with RFC, I think 211, well, which describes these words like must and should and those. Oh wait, it's actually in the comment. So RFC 2119 and RFC 8174. It's very handy to directly have this URL to the RFC's website, so that you can directly look up like, okay, what's actually being meant. Some EIP offers or ERC offers do not directly link to this. I think we should also enforce that if this is not already being done.
I will add an issue for that.
Okay, and then the final one is the copyright waiver enforcement. So we have that in EIP1 we say that this specific line should be included as copyright. Most EIP offers do this, but some of them do not. They link to the CC0 copyright of the to a website and not to the copy which we have in the repository, which should be the actual line there. So we should also enforce that.
Yeah, somebody opened a pull request for that 11 hours ago, so I will take a look at that.
Okay, wow, that's great timing. Okay, really cool. Okay, I will just continue on these points. Let me figure out what I want with this Solidity code. Yes, okay. So this is about Solidity, and we have a Solidity template code in EIPs, which as you can see on the Puja screen, what it does is it imports these interfaces from @permit2/interface, and this is an external library. And my question is, do we want this? And I think because we do not want, or we ban external URLs, I think we also should not want external libraries to be used in this case. But I'm not super sure, because this is like super limiting, especially for these interfaces. But yeah.
Rules as written, we shouldn't be allowing them. We've been fairly flexible on it because it's very, very annoying if we don't allow that, because then you'd have to define every like interface yourself. But yeah, like we technically shouldn't be allowing them, so we should probably enforce that rule. Oh yeah, I mean, in the reference implementation section, I think it's probably okay. I think people can generally find out where to find these things, but I'm not entirely sure. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, so I'm also not entirely sure, because like one of the main reasons why we, for instance, do not want external URLs is because these can change. That's the same problem with these kind of interfaces. Of course, like this @permit2 seems to be a interface which is version 2, and this should not have any structural changes to this interface, so this should be fine. But yeah, then again, if you start to enforce this is indeed, as you say, incredibly annoying. But the point that you made about this should be okay in the reference implementation, I think that's a very good point. So what we do, what we should maybe write down as a rule or whatever, that inside the specification section, we would maybe not want this. So for these interfaces, what you would do there is you would indeed copy the interfaces which you use into your specification directly, into the specification, such that there is no way to get confused or whatever. But that this is allowed in the reference, so in any section which is not specification. So we have like hard rules for specification, but not for these other sectors that you can then use these external libraries.
Yep, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, and For the reference implementation, I think it's generally okay because we don't expect people to literally run the reference implementation. So seeing the actual code that they're importing isn't necessarily that important because it's just illustrative. Like there's no normative stuff inside the reference implementation. So I think it's okay for them to be there. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah, I that's also like a very good point. The reference implementation is not intended to be used as copy, and we could also really assume that people would not like just blind copy these. I think
I would certainly hope not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but sometimes you get surprised, right? Yeah. Okay, I think I will move to the fifth point. So one of the things I think, Sam, you this is already into the contributing rules or like in the guidelines, and I also see that you are enforcing this on reviews. So the point is that we only want to enforce RFC 2119 keywords in the specification section, and the reason for this is that I've seen your reviews also stating this, or maybe it's also in the rule or both, that if these normative keywords are outside the specification section, then in some cases it really feels like this is not intended to be used as this RFC 2119 keyword, but instead like as an emphasis. And the fact that we do not want these keywords outside the specification section because that could basically create new specification rules outside the specification section, which is not what we want because these rules should all be in the specification section and not outside it. So you can, as an implementer, be sure if I would only, of course don't do that, but if I would only read the specification section, then I am sure that all the rules are in there and there are not like some other edge cases or rules or whatever inside, for instance, like the security section. This is also a very interesting one where we see like a lot of these RFC keywords. So, yeah, okay, I guess what the point what I wanted to raise here is that I think we should really start to enforce this. So we do not allow these keywords outside the specification section. So the way to fix this is very simple. You will just lowercase all these keywords.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So we could make EIPW detect them, and then if it finds them outside the specification section, it just says like use lowercase or put in the specification section.
Yeah, cool. And then the last point is, it's a very small one. We are currently using the master branch on the EIPs, ERCs, and RIPs repositories. I think we should change the default branch to main because this is the new canonical name for, well, the main branch of repositories.
This comes up fairly often, maybe once a year we talk about it, and my opinion on it is it's not broken, don't change it. Changing it will break all of the downstream EIP tooling. It'll make us have to change all of our scripts and stuff, and I don't really see the point in changing it.
Okay, yeah, it is also not a very hard requirement for me, but yeah, I just wanted to raise it. Yeah, and you were right. This will break a lot of things. Yeah, good point.
Cool. So with that, I guess we have some action items per se, each discussion point over there. You want to add anything more on that, Joachim, or maybe we can move on to the next item?
No, I'm actually very surprised that we could go through this so fast. So that's very nice. Yeah, I will create these issues and action items, and yeah, thanks.
Awesome, thank you.
Very well. So let's move on to the next item for discussion, which is discuss changes for EIP 7723, which is networking. Yeah. So this EIP, let me open the EIP as well. So we have a good view of, so this is network upgrade inclusion stage. It talks about which all stages an EIP goes through when it is being considered for an upgrade. So we understand that EIP status and EIP stage are two different things. status is something when we see the maturity of technical documentation, and stages are the consideration of that proposal and being tested from DevNet through public testnet to testnet and finally on the mainnet. The discussion point here is about clarity on upgrade stages and statuses. My understanding I just have shared. I want to check with editors. Do we feel there is some kind of inconsistency, or there should be more clarity about upgrade stage and EIP status in the first place?
Yeah. So I think that we as EIP editors should actually not interfere with the fork process. So this is about well, the rules which the current canonical EIP 7723, I think. So this network upgrade, yeah, this one. So this creates the rules for well, what is network upgrade? How do we do this? What is this proposed for inclusion? Considered, scheduled, and declined, etc., etc. And Pooja, you were right. Like this Glamsterdam meta EIP should indeed move to review. The problem is that if you then have all of these EIPs in declined for inclusion, is that these EIPs themselves should also be in review phase. Well, of course, we can imagine that declined EIPs are not really expected to have a status of review yet. Of course, they can, but most of them will not have this status because they will all be draft. The thing is that this network upgrade process also has some rules or some notitions about the status of this decline for inclusion, which my main point on the PR, which is currently open, so move this EIP 7773 to review, which is the Glamsterdam meta EIP, is that in order to pass the EIPIP, we will need to have all the EIPs in the review phase, which we won't have because then all the declines for inclusion EIPs will not reach this status. The consequence of this is that we then remove all the declines for inclusion EIPs from the EIP itself, which I am not entirely sure if that's the correct move. But on the other hand, we can of course see this in the Git history of the file if it was declined for inclusion in the past. And what we also know is that by the fork process policy is that the final version of the EIP won't have the declined EIPs in it anyways. So I think this is fine. And if there is like any need for an EIP author to prove that an EIP was declined in Amsterdam, then you can do that via the Git history. Yeah.
So I want to make a few points here. First of all, I have a strong belief that this EIP 7723 might need some correction at some places. So I started this conversation with the differentiating between status and stage, and I believe EIP 7723 is specifically talking about network upgrade inclusion stages. So when we say that define the stage, that EIP goes through the process of planning, and we have defined all these stages. So Joachim, I will be coming back on decline for inclusion a little later. First, I want to talk about this proposal because I feel like this proposal might require some changes in right here, so we do not get confused. I have opened an opened a PR a while ago. Let me try to open it right here. That suggests that in this EIP, there is confusion on usage of the word status and stages. It is saying that all EIP status. Okay, this is the correct version. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to put it together. Okay, so my idea is that first of all, we need the clarity between stage and status. They should not be mixed together, right? So when we say that all EIP statuses apply to single network upgrade, EIP must be proposed, considered, declined, and scheduled, which means here statuses are referring to P proposed, considered, declined, and scheduled, which needs to be corrected. It should be stages. That's my understanding. And similarly, I have seen that this is interswapped and used at multiple places. For the correction of this, I have created this PR back in January and it is still waiting. I have not received any comment from authors why this is not being merged, but I feel like this needs to be merged if we want to hold EIP 7723 correct and use it for different upgrade statuses, upgrade stages. Having said that, let's get back to the DFI section. So DFI are supposed to be listed when the proposal is in the draft status, because in most of the cases, as Joachim clearly mentioned, that proposal may not be in review status, so we may not be having the status change for DFI proposal. But in that case, if we include the DFI section in upgrade meta, it will not move forward. And for that, the solution mentioned here is that that it should be removed when time comes, like when going to last call, it should be removed from the upgrade meta. But my recommendation here would be, like, we don't have to, it says that when an upgrade meta is moved to last call, decline for inclusion, and all PFI, DFI, and CFI should be removed and just leave schedule for inclusion. My recommendation here would be the decline for inclusion can be removed when the proposal is moving in the review altogether, because this is most likely there will be at least one EIP in DFI which will be in the draft status, and that would be a big blocker. So this sentence can be corrected in EIP 7723 in order to make it fully work. So that's the second change. There is no PR for it yet, but I think this has a strong argument to do so. I wonder what people think here. If they agree, we can go ahead and create a PR and again take it to author, maybe discuss an ACD. But if editors strongly disagree, because this is again a process EIP, if editors strongly disagree, then there's no point moving forward with it.
I mean, this is somebody else's process, so I don't think we have any say in this really. But I'm down to remove all of those sections. And if you're having trouble getting the authors to look at the PR, you might just want to open a new EIP under a new number and have yourself as an author on there. That would also be a valid solution to this.
Well, that may be a little complicated given the acceptability of EIP 7723 in the ecosystem. My preference would be to maybe go ahead and talk to authors. I will definitely try.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, I totally understand the
get
suggestion. Yeah, of course. I totally get that. And if that is the worst case solution, we'll do that. But for now, if people agree, then maybe I can go ahead and make a PR to have this change. So these are the two changes per se. EIP 7723. This proposal is still in the last call status. It is not finalized. So this is our chance to make this proposal like correct, so we can have it for future references. The third change that I want to point out about this proposal, which should be incorporated in MetaEIP, which is currently not being incorporated, is the statement that says that this is only for core EIPs. These days, in practice, all EIPs are being considered part of MetaEIP, which is being listed as DFI, PFI, CFI, or whatever it is. But 7723 clearly specifies that this is activation stages for core EIP. So my proposal here is that we should go ahead and maybe, because this is only done for 2 upgrades, we can go ahead and do that, and it's not a big change for any of the MetaEIP if we decide to do it today. for example, Fusaka. Let's take it for Fusaka. So here, if we'll take a look at it, it says other EIPs, but they are under the header of included. So if we just change the heading of this without making too much changes to it, it can be considered as separate section, and then we will be holding EIP 7723, right? That included is the stage for these EIPs, not these. So this is for the past that we may want to correct if we agree to the idea that network upgrade inclusion stages only work for core EIP. Now let's take a look at Glamsterdam EIP. So if we are looking at Glamsterdam EIP, there is a section of networking EIPs which are under CFI. By 7723, they should not be under CFI, but this says that this is found under, EIP 7723. So we are contradicting. There are small things that we can fix in order to do what we say we are doing. But again, that requires consensus from editors, from authors, and then we can bring it to ACD. I wonder what editors think about it.
Yeah, so the first point here is that, and Sam also already mentioned this, that this process is of course a very core process of Ethereum, but it is not part of this is not part of the EIP editors process. So what I think, because I completely agree with you that the network upgrade EIP is being contradicted by the current, by maybe also by the Fusaka Meta EIP, but also by the Glamsterdam EIP. Like this is something what we should definitely not do in the process. So what I think, what we should do, and then saying that not as an editor, but like as someone who wants to improve the fork process, is that we should. I think that we should bring this up at ACD. That because these ACDs are of course always packed, but at least put it on the agenda that listen, we are not following the network upgrade specification. Here is a PR which changes it, and then also lay out, like these and these rules are not being followed correctly, and how we can improve that. And then as a second point, you are also completely correct, because the word stages and status is very confusing, because of course we also have the EIP status, which could refer to that or not, which is very confusing. But the main point is that we or you do not need to have editor approval of any changes to these EIP, because we only follow the EIP process and not the fork process. Yeah.
That is correct. So with this, I'm open to maybe put together some points related PRs and add it to the next ACD agenda to bring it to authors' attention. But at the same time, I feel like when it comes to process, if something is being considered for rough consensus, editors should be part of that rough consensus. However, I believe in empowering editor a little bit more, because they are the first point of contact for anyone, right? It be author, let it be a community member, or anyone who wants to understand and contribute. So what we are doing in practice, which brings me to my next point, what we are doing in practice, we should do it for a little bit more. For example, as of now, if we have an open PR which is pending author's approval, let's say the author is not around anymore, and it is for a typo or something, editors do merge them at their discretion. This is not formally documented on EIP1, but that is being part of the process right now. We do it with the approval of 2 editors, just to make sure that nobody is making mistake right here. And if there are small correction that editor think that it is right, it's just that author is not addressing, we can address it and close the PR. I think that thing should be formalized even more. And we should pay attention to these kind of PRs because this can significantly decrease the number of open PR. I think this PR with respect to 7723 is a clear example of that. This PR was opened back in January, and this is July, past 6-7 months. This has not been addressed by the author. I think it has been discussed multiple times in ACD meeting, but not been addressed. But this is an important proposal that needs to be discussed, that needs to be addressed, and editor should be able to enforce something in place. And yeah, I mean,
So,
I would be happy to like be added as co-author and make these changes because I strongly believe these are right. Sorry, Sam, please go ahead.
oh, no worries. So for non-final EIPs, I don't think editors should merge anything without author approval. Like maybe typo fixes, like stuff like that are super obvious, but for anything else, I don't think we should. If we want to make those kind of changes, we should do it the same way any other author would and fork the EIP. I think that just if we take the place of author's judgment in non-final EIPs, that opens the door to us being pressured into making these kind of changes. So for example, like somebody comes along and makes a pull request against, I don't know, some popular, mostly implemented standard that just hasn't gone to final yet, and they start pressuring EIP editors into merging their changes without author approval. We probably don't understand the full scope of where that EIP is being used, or ERC, I guess, or the technical ramifications of it. I don't think we're qualified to make those kind of choices. So I don't think we should be approving anything without author approval, except for obvious fixes and like typos and stuff like that. And then we should encourage people to either get themselves added as authors or to fork the EIP. And that way we can remain, neutral and not involved in any of these kind of disputes.
Yeah, I would agree. So having this policy in place that if a PR remains pending author approval for more than 2 weeks for a final EIP, we can get it merged at editor's discretion. But for the open, like non-final EIPs, we should not do that. Okay. Do you think we can document it formally, maybe on contributing.md or EIP1?
Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should make it formal. That way, future editors would also know if they are not here around. Cool. We have like 7 minutes left, and I know there are a lot of items for discussion here today. I quickly want to just mention one last thing from my end, which is with respect to working group. Thank you, Joachim, for taking a look at it. And I believe I have added response to all the queries that you had. Sam, if you ever get a chance, please take a look at it and do let me know. Or let the group know if we believe that we should perhaps move in this direction. For initial process, I have added only 5 disputes, but I think we can shrink it to 2 or 3 and start from there if there is a general agreement, and we can start working around how we can handle these kind of disputes, how we can look into issues, try to address them, and create an environment where we can receive more participation from the ecosystem. With that, maybe we can move on to the next one. I know there are a lot to discuss, but let's move on, keep moving on with the higher priority stuff right now. I understand there is a demo requested, which we don't think we will be able to do it in full. But before we get to demo, if we can get updates on EIP working group, I believe that is going to be fairly quick.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So Sam and I have made some foundational progress on the multi-repo local build system, covered in the last few meetings we've had here. The first 2 PRs are merged, including a new one for the repo manifest work that lets separate repos identify each other properly. The remaining work is still in review and iteration. Extra eyes would definitely be welcome from anyone interested in the local build workflow, repo tooling, or the developer experience. The link is in the GitHub issue comments, so you're welcome to check that out. Thanks.
That was quick. Thank you, Rito, for updates.
You got it.
Very well. Next, we can move on to the community demo. I believe it was requested by EIP Lab. We have just 4 minutes left. So if you want, we can maybe schedule this demo for the next meeting. But if you want to make a quick intro, what this demo is about and what you want to share today, please, the stage is all yours.
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you for this space. Yes, we are going to show very fast what is the EIP Lab, and the proposal basically is a tool for testing any EIP using smart contracts on the execution layer, and these EIPs could be related to upgrades in the clients or the protocol itself. But with the EVVM stack, we can just make it like a mock, but useful mock that maybe is for production, ready to use by anyone just in a few minutes. So, Okan, please, if you want to show the demo. We have like 2 minutes, and then we can show more.
Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so we're in the EIP Lab app. So we click on Launch EIP Lab, and you should have OpenAI API keys. And I will charge it with an EIP. This one is the 8034. And just give me a second. I have to load models. And I just click on Launch Deep Research. What EIP Lab agent will do is to read all the EIP and understand which parts of the opcode, understand which part of the configuration of the Ethereum protocol have to be emulated and modified using the EVVM stack. So it won't take that long. So just for understanding, I hope you know about EVVM. And what we do is to run a Ethereum virtual machine in other blockchains using smart contracts. So this EIP Lab will ask for some questions in order to shape the result, which will provide compilable smart contracts. So I'm going to answer the questions using an agent that I have in order to speed up the demo. And as soon as I receive the responses, we will show how it will work. So our AI agent, what does is it will show obviously the token consumption, and will create a version of the EVVM stack, which can be modified in the core contracts, adding additional services, or in a hybrid mode, reconfigure the EVVM stack plus additional services in order to emulate opcodes, for example, zero knowledge proof, hashes verification. Obviously, we are not going to provide the infrastructure for that process, but we can provide the opcode emulation in a service in order to provide a yes/no for your testing. That means that you can prove any EIP using this stack, which will save tons of tons of time, instead of running your own infrastructure, your own nodes, reconfiguring the Ethereum virtual machine, but using the EVVM stack in local and obviously in testnets and maybe even production environments. So at this point, it is reading all the information I gave, and it will generate smart contracts that emulates, in this case, the 8034 EIP, which is in revision, and it will provide the necessary contracts for testing this EIP. So I know I'm not really a smart contracts or Ethereum developer protocol developer, but I do understand that when you are trying to test any EIP, you should have like a really wide understanding about the protocol itself and how the opcodes will work in the Ethereum protocol. So this is what I made with the team in order to provide researchers and developers a suite for testing any EIP only with 3 clicks and almost less than $5 of cost per each iteration. And
well, thank you, Okan. In the next call, we can show the full demo. Thank you, Poha, for this opportunity. And yes, for everyone that doesn't know, EVVM lets you deploy virtual blockchains like the VMware or VirtualBox, or maybe a CH root on Linux for blockchains. So we call it vertical scalability. So, okay, thank you for the space. And maybe in the next call, we can show a full demo, how to modify it, how to improve it, and how to deploy it to use it properly.
And it is just finishing of creating the smart contracts. It has all the EVM context. So yes, we will have the 8034 EIP ready to test using the EVM stack.
Excellent. For just one mention, the EIP 8250 for the key nonces is very easy to deploy on the EVVM to have asynchronic nonces is how we call it. So this is fully implementable and full usable, and it's very nice to use on production on an EVVM. Let's talk in the next call with more time. Thank you for your attention and for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you both. Thank you, EIP Lab. Team, this seems like some tool that maybe we can bring it to attention to testing team or the other people if they want to use it for their Solidity contract or any kind of contract deployment. Definitely, we would love to have a detailed overview of it in the next meeting. But thank you so much for sharing this tool with us. We are at hour. I am happy to share that we do have editors available for next few weeks. But editors, if you get a chance, please take a look. I do see August 4th is still empty. If there is anyone who is available, please add yourself for office hour, and we'll continue to address the issues, question, concerns of community of EIP authors on EIP editing office hours. That's pretty much all for today's EIP meeting. Last question for editors. When do we want to have the next meeting? Should it be the first week of August, or do we have any other date in mind?
Yeah, that sounds good. First week of August.
Let me just check my calendar.
Yeah, okay. Actually, I also do that before I commit to this.
So the first week of August, I will probably be busy.
Okay, then likely we should schedule it 1 week ahead or 1 week earlier.
12th or 19th, maybe?
For me, both work.
12th works for me, and the 19th works for me as well.
Okay, let's keep it for 12th. And if there are any changes, then we'll move it to 19th of August. Cool. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here today. See you around. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Thank you. Bye-bye.